I'm going to leave it to the experts. First of all, I'd like to introduce to you Maria Garcia from Future Zone, and she's got quite a number of years of experience under her belt. Her conversations I've had, or the conversations I've had with her, have been very, well, impromptu, but the fantastic part is that I must admit, they gave me the answers I needed. And she's always been so kind to reach out to other people that had as much questions as we had as ourselves, that were things that were happening in regarding setup of sponsorship, visas, and everything like that. So that being said, I want you to take a moment, and I would also like to say hello to our other amazing speaker, and you've already probably had the chance of meeting him before, and this is Ramzi. Ramzi is also an amazing person. Sorry, I use maybe amazing quite often, but that's exactly how I feel about it. He has been a vital part of the Canadian Business Council and community here for many years. Again, I keep looking at the numbers. You both have 20 plus. So, so that is a big achievement. So thank you very much. This is the time where I'm actually going to go a bit off the screen, okay? Because I'd like you guys to do your magic if you don't mind. And Ramsey, could I ask you kindly to be the first to step up, and we could take a look at these things together? And first of all, thank you very much. Take care.
No problem. My pleasure. Should we just get started?
Go for it.
All right. So I'll share my screen. But before that, just like Diana, thanks very much for giving me the opportunity to speak and allow me to be exposed as well to everybody on onto the network. Pleasure to meet you, Maria. There's a lot of commonalities between the two businesses here. So we want to go into people are coming into the UAE, and what are they going to do when they're here? How are they going to protect themselves? How are they going to set up their business? When you set up your business, you need insurance, and why do you have insurance? For to protect your assets. So there's so many different things that we can get into. One thing I don't like is boring webinars. So what I'm going to try and do is make it short and sweet as much as I can. And so I'm going to kind of skim through it, and I'm going to highlight certain points to it. And if there's any questions, if there's any time for questions today, that'd be great. If not, we can always meet up afterwards or have a chat afterwards whenever is required. All right. So I'm just going to share my screen.
Thank you. Thank you, Ramsey. Yes. And there'll be a follow-up email on this so that you can have the contacts that you need necessary to reach out to any of our speakers today. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. So we represent Petra Insurance Brokers. It was traditionally a family business. We've been around for over 50 years. In this picture is actually my father. He's on to the right of Sheikh Zayed back in 1968. So our roots are from back then in insurance. So what we're trying to do is move on to the next level of our careers in the insurance scape in the UAE, from the family business side to more of an institution. And we're going through that transition, and it's what's required now. So, but at the end of the day, though, the values have stayed the same. We're here for the market, through the ups and downs, providing the right advice for the people that need it and the businesses that need it. So just to be quick on a few things we're going to cover. How do you optimize your business? COVID-19, whether it's been 5 years since it started, well, it's over now, but 5 years ago, we were going through the pandemic heavily. And it feels like it was only yesterday, but there is an impact on that. And we'll talk a bit about that, plus some insurance essentials. What is global life insurance? Some of the risks that we can have solutions for. And there's a lot of people that have asked about coverage in the UAE and if it can be done regionally. And I'll just touch on a few other things in this presentation. So one of the main aspects here is that we want to mitigate financial losses. This is very important. And we come to the UAE to have a nice lifestyle, but also to make money. provide for your family and create a legacy from a career perspective and a financial perspective. And so we want to ensure business continuity, which basically ensures income continuity, right? And when you're more into the, the within the community here, obviously you have staff that you want to take care of. So there's many aspects here, and insurance can help you with all this. So the key aspects here, especially if you're an expat, is that one of the main mistakes that people do is they think whatever you have back in Canada, back in Europe, applies here automatically. The answer is no way. It just doesn't. I mean, you cannot assume that. So our job is to help you with identifying blind spots, evaluating the costs. Like some things are a bit too high, and some things are actually too low, where it doesn't really cover you. There's no benefit of taking that insurance policy, for example. So we want to navigate through this volatile market. What are the certain risks that you can take, some of the rewards from that, and find the right coverage which hits the spot for you. So some of the from COVID-19, there's been certain things that are still have impacted, but then also some aspects have happened from last year with the April floods, which has a different effect here. So in some of the positive that came up from the COVID-19 pandemic was decreased costs for car, home, and business insurance. This is after COVID. And lower premiums make insurance more appealing, which has really increased the uptick of insurance in the country. And of course, there was the digital space had also been a higher impact into the market here than before. And there was an awareness for something called business interruption insurance. I can tell you right now, after the pandemic, there was a lot of people asking for business interruption, when as before we would be really trying to convince our clients that this is something that is needed, and trying to advise them on that. Now, the negative on since COVID was the high cost of private medical insurance. Medical inflation averaging net 7%, but I have seen in the past 3 months, 4 months, up to 14% increase without any usage on it. This stems from just regular inflation, and also the cost of the hospitals and clinics have gone up over the past few years as well. The claim approvals, I'm sure a lot of people complain when you have medical insurance that the claims are not being approved easily. This is common. There's been more claims that have happened since COVID, more people, and more emphasis or more exposure onto insurance as a whole. So there's been more of a tighter approach from the insurance companies to mitigate their losses. So last April 2024, there was the floods. So what has happened since then is that the car insurance and some of the home insurance has gone up in premium, and where there was major claims all over the UAE. I'm sure we've all suffered from it and have gone through it. And for the ones that had insurance for that, were well prepared for when the rainy day happened. So these are things that I think, although there were some negative aspects to what has happened over the past few years, the emphasis on insurance, and I would have to say also the frustration on insurance, had increased, but the awareness has increased. And that awareness is important to not necessarily turn you back on the concept of insurance, but also to look at what is the right insurance for you, because it does work. So some of the essentials we can discuss is implementing best practices, have regular training for your staff, for yourself even, and certain compliance checks, strategically capping losses with coverage benefits. So you can have a certain benefit, and this comes with experience and with proper advice with insurance advisors, to be very honest with you. So there are ways where you can limit the amount of loss that you can have with the right benefits that are selected without paying too much. And there are ways around that. And that's where you have to go into the nitty-gritty, the devil's in the details, as they say. So it is, people have said often, I have an insurance policy that covers me for everything. There's no such thing as any insurance policy that covers you for everything. And I think that kind of concept or lack of awareness of the hassle of trying to get to know your policies causes problems in the future when there is a claim. And I think that's where, although insurance isn't the most interesting thing to talk about on your weekends, it is very important, especially when there's a claim on your weekend. At least you know that you're covered. There's that peace of mind. And there's some of the insurance that you can focus in on as a business, is, for example, liability insurance. What you do, for example, if you own a restaurant, if you own a some sort of if hairdresser, whatever, there's different liabilities for the type of business that you have, and it's tailored for those businesses. Workman's compensation. This is a common thing in the UAE. You have to have workman's comp cover, not as insurance, but by law, you're supposed to cover if there's any injury for your employees. That also includes driving from and to work. Not necessarily on the weekends, but there is a liability from the employer for any kind of injuries that happen because of work. You don't have to have insurance for that, but you have to cover that. But why would you self-insure yourself when you can pay a policy at a certain percentage, a couple of percent, as opposed to being exposed to a claim that could expose you to a death claim of one of your staff, which can be very costly, and along with the emotions of it, the operations of it, the logistics of it is difficult, and insurance takes care of the logistics for you. Property insurance, if you have an office, a factory, also if it's on a personal basis, your home, any kind of water damage, any natural calamities, you name it, that's covered. And under the property insurance is where the business interruption insurance comes in. Professional indemnity insurance are basically, to make it easy for all, it's you're covering for advice, sincere advice that has gone wrong. So if you're a lawyer, you make you recommend something. If you are an architect, a consultant, and that advice that was not malicious in intent led to a material damage, a loss, that is covered. That's basically you're covering against your advice that you're given, or where your advice leads to a financial loss. Cyber insurance is picking up. There's a lot of, we don't know about it, but I can tell you from my contacts, there's a lot of cyber ransom that's happening around, it's in the UAE, Middle East, Saudi, and around the world. And cyber insurance is one of the least used insurance policies out there. And the biggest misconception about cyber insurance is that it's for huge companies. No, it's not. It's for any company. If you have anything that is on the cloud, data, servers, you name it, you could be at risk of that. And they cover for many things. Now, of course, if you're a huge company, if you're a bank, there will be you could be a victim to ransom. So you don't have to worry about it if you're more of a smaller company. However, cyber insurance does cover parts of, if you were to lose data, there's a cost to regaining that data back. And that is expensive, to be very frank with you. And that's something we should all look into moving forward, especially in 2025 and we're moving on. It's going to be an important factor moving forward. Smart medical insurance. What do I mean by that? People take medical insurance for whatever. It's a blanket policy. They do this. But what is the right policy for you, right? Which hospitals, which clinics, which benefits? There are about 10,000 different medical insurance plans in the UAE. Imagine that. So, and they're all bespoke. So when will it benefit you is when you know which is exactly the type of plan that you need. Which hospitals, which clinics, which benefits. There's so many out there. Again, go for the right advisor. Things will be much easier for you. Peace of mind. Motor insurance, car insurance. Yeah, people do get frustrated now because the prices have gone up. But I can tell you right now, the rates right now are much lower than when they were 10 years ago, 8 years ago. They went down considerably during COVID, but they went up a lot over the past year, especially after the April 2024 rains. So life insurance, this is something I recommend for various clients. they it's very common in Canada. It's very common in the West, but people don't take it out here. And of course, it's life insurance. You don't want to talk about death. You don't want to talk about cancer, critical illness, but it's something that is there, and it's important to kind of get it out of the way, have those hard conversations, you know, and then kind of secure yourself, have a budget for this, and move on. Personally, when I started getting life insurance, I didn't want to commit to a monthly budget for this. It was not something that I had in mind. But after a couple months of doing it and knowing that it takes care of my family in case anything happened to me, I have a policy that includes critical illness insurance. So the idea here is like, even if you don't have a family, you're by yourself, the critical illness insurance component, if you're to have some illness that is part of the listed conditions, you don't have to let it eat from your savings, or you don't have to rely on somebody else to lend you money for the cost of the hospitalization, the care, all that stuff. It's a lump sum payout. So these are overlooked aspects of life insurance. And also, if you're to live in the UAE, we're not always going to be here forever. Certain policies that we recommend have mobility, meaning if you weren't a resident of the UAE anymore, it will still be covered for the years that you take out the insurance, 15 years, 20 years, whatever. If you live in the UAE for 5 years, you're abroad for the next 20 years, it's covered. Not every policy, but there are policies out there. So there are certain tricks to the game that you should know about, that at least you'll have a certain peace of mind by yourself, especially when you don't expect it, is very important. Other aspects that you can look at, which we don't do, well, some of them that we do, the others we don't do, but we do recommend, is you should look into stuff like wills and pension plans. Wills are very important, especially in the UAE. I won't get into them right now. We have our connections. I'm sure others do in the CBC. Relocation advisors are important. They know a lot of people here, and it's something that I would look into as well. One thing that I was asked about is the golden visa and certain insurance for the golden visa. To be clear, there is no insurance for the golden visa. You can get a golden visa, but there is no 10-year plan. It's a 1-year plan renewed. So whatever, if you hear anything to do with a golden visa insurance, it's a gimmick. All right. So basically, it's health insurance that is yearly, and then it just gets renewed. So just be aware of certain marketing gimmicks, if you will. Some of the things that we recommend always is, if you don't plan ahead a little bit and then just kind of repeat the planning and kind of review the plan, you are at risk. There is going to be financial risk and burden if you do not look at your insurance policy. Your insurance policy is meant and only meant to protect your financial means. And if you don't take it seriously, if you don't look at it on a yearly basis, or if you don't have it, then you're at risk. This is just the bottom line. Insurance is, people don't want insurance when they don't need it, but they sure would love to have it when they need it, right? So, and it's a lot more cost effective when you don't need it. So I just want to be very clear about that. And, I know a lot of people come to me after there's a claim, can you backdate the policy? The answer is no. And it's illegal. So instead of getting to that level of panic, be prepared and budget for it like you do for your rent. We totally support the proactivity, plan ahead, ensure adequate coverage for all aspects of life. Anything from a small policy like travel insurance to a life insurance policy, home insurance. I mean, there is a budget for that can be very cost effective and manageable. My point is, talk to an advisor, talk to a broker, talk to us and see what is the budget for this, what is the cost of this, what are you able to afford, what do you want to afford today, right? So a few things there to think about. So business coverage in the UAE, and I think it's we can go into Saudi Arabia. So businesses that are operating in multiple countries are covered in the UAE. So if you have a UAE license and you have businesses outside, so there's two things here. So if you have a business here and you have clients in Saudi, for example, or anywhere else in the Gulf, let's say, there is a certain policy that can be extended towards to those countries. There is a possibility for that, depending on the risk and depending on the company and multiple factors. There is very much, we've done it for many companies. So for example, if you're a local UAE-based company and you have a project in Saudi, a project in Oman, project or whatever, we can cover that, or it can be covered over there. But it's dependent on the risk and what kind of company you are and what's the project over there and legal ramifications in that other country. Medical insurance. There's a lot of, there's two types of medical insurance. Let me go before that. For the businesses that are operating, if you have a UAE-based company and you have a branch in Saudi, branch in Oman, or just different branches in the region, that is also potentially can be covered as one umbrella policy. So it just depends on what can be done. Medical insurance, again, two things. You can have a medical insurance that's a robust one based in the UAE that covers you internationally. Or if you're, and that could be personal or it could be a company only in the UAE. There is also an option where it's a UAE company that has branches across the region where if there's enough people, it can be fully covered under one umbrella policy. I don't necessarily always recommend that because what's good in the UAE doesn't necessarily mean it's good in Saudi Arabia or in Oman or whatever. And also the servicing, the facade of servicing, again, you don't need to have a one blanket policy for all. I think it depends on if you can localize it, but have the international experience in there as well. So I think I'm towards the end of it. So I would look at a few things when you make your decision in insurance. Customer service. Have you improved over the past decade? And how can you improve it further? Emphasize how you can vet your insurance policy, your partners. Select the right partners. Who are the insurance companies and advisors that you're working with? Which brokers? Are they doing a job? Are they challenging the situation? So there's a lot of things to think about there. So honestly, things change. Like you believe in one thing 5 years ago, 5 years later, your philosophy changes. Is your insurance coverage in line with who you are today? So there's a few things to think about as well for that. So there are some, if you have any questions. So I told you short and sweet. I did do something nice. I did a cheat sheet for you guys. I'm not going to go over it now. I think it'd be nice to have a copy of this for yourselves and ask those questions to when you are looking for insurance, right? So this is very much a added value part of the presentation. And I think you should take advantage of it when you can. And usually people are not abundant in thinking. They keep it to themselves. But here you go. There's a nice little cheat sheet that I would love to have had before I got into the insurance industry in the past. So I'll leave that for now. And I think from that we are done. Before we go, just who we are. I want to just demonstrate who we won awards on best business insurance, fastest growing insurance brokerage firm recently, and most reliable insurance brokers. A few of our awards. We're very proud of who we are and who we've become. We've gone through the ups and downs like any other business, and we've stayed resilient. And our plan is to do the same for our clients and whoever needs our services. Thank you very much. Sorry. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ramsey. I want that cheat sheet. I think we all want that cheat sheet. So let's say if we didn't happen to screenshot it, maybe somehow we'll try to get a kind of version of that for you because unfortunately, the questions that come to mind are usually after you've purchased your policy.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So we don't want anything. There is actually one question here. Do you want us to take the one question now quickly? And so, because there might be other questions, there's a great question coming here from, I don't know if you can actually see it. I'm sure you can see it on your end too. Mariam, which is, it's just, I've been offered a suite at a hotel to use for my energy healing private sessions, including Reiki hands-on. Is this legal? Do I need a professional insurance?
Well, the question is, do you have a license?
Yeah.
Right? So the license is everything. If you don't have a license, it's not. I'm not saying you're doing it. It's not allowed. I think Maria can talk more about this one. But you need to have a license to be insured. That's the bottom line. And then
Yes, she
from
does.
there,
Yes, she does. She's quick at answering. I love this one.
all
Yes,
right,
yes, I
perfect.
do.
So I will go and open up the Q&A. Okay. So when you do have a license, the other part of it is in the license, there should be a setup of where the place of business is, right? So is it a specific section? Is it a specific location? Is it mentioned that it could be anywhere? And are you able to transact over there? So there's a few things there that you should ask. Now, from there, what we can do is look into if it's insurable or not. So is this place a place of business? Because there's many people that conduct business in hotels as an office, right? So there's a few things that we can look into, and it could be possible, but depending on the information. But the key thing is the license for this.
Fabulous. Well, thank you. Thank you. It's always nice to get, when someone is that courageous to write a question right away, I like to pop them off to our speakers. Well, thank you so much, Ramsey. This has been absolutely insightful. And it's nice to know that for some of the companies expanding, that they can actually maybe or might, depending on the situation, take their insurance policies with them where they were going. And thank you for some of the friendly advice because a lot of the topics like wills and whatnot, people aren't really, oh, I don't really want to talk about that, but I call it getting your ducks in a row. You really have to get your ducks in a row. In fact, we actually will be having a Canadian will. A webinar coming up soon, so please attend that, and we will combine it later on, and a little bit by Canadian will, and then what you need here, and if you need the combination of both. Well, I think this is the moment that we should actually have Maria come on. And I think I'm looking forward to this. And I can see how your two types of business sectors really combine. I wish so many people have got to meet you beforehand, or if they're starting up new businesses, because taking away the worries, letting people sleep at night, they have no idea because there are so many things. It's not what I think you wrote a really interesting article today regarding ambition, Ramsey. If ambition's just not enough. You've really got to get your ducks in a row. Oh, then
Yes,
and not all the information is online. It's not Googleable. You need qualified people. So, qualified
100%.
person.
Yeah.
I think we should go ahead and you're up next. There you go. Hi, Maria.
Hi, good afternoon, Diana. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. So hopefully we're going to have a very, very exciting topic. So let me share my screen. So just go give us a moment while we're doing the magic. All right. Sorry. Just give us a moment. Give us a moment.
Yeah, just hit present mode on the toggle. That's usually Canva will really is good at that. There you go. That one up
Yeah.
there, higher up on the purple, higher. There you go.
We have done it
there.
before.
No panic. Technology is best, you know.
Yeah, we
It's
tried it before actually.
yeah. Try again. Shall we just
Try again.
share again?
And I know, okay, it's better for everyone to have a pen. So it's gonna help them, you know, to take a note.
Okay. There you go. So we see your screen. And if you want to put it on full mode, you should hit present on yours. There you go. Lower. There
Yeah, we're doing it right now, but I'm not so sure why it's not happening.
you might have to refresh your page. The joys of technology. We spend half the time, I think, when I'm in the car saying, "Can you hear me? Are you hearing me? Did you hear what I just said?"
Yeah, actually, we had done it. I mean, we tried it before, and
Yeah.
all right.
So
So
please go ahead. Remember, there is a survey up for if you'd like to know about any other
what?
whatever one. Oh, there you go. Here we are. Back we are again.
Okay. So while we're doing that,
Okay.
may I know where are you joining from?
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, type in the chat box while we're waiting for the technology to work up and get up to speed there.
Okay. Now we're ready.
We had lots of people even sign up from Canada. They wanted to get their first coffee in to make sure. So,
Okay.
well, even if you can't go into present mode, you could probably click each one of your slides.
Yeah, now we're okay.
Yeah.
Now we're okay. So here are the topics that we're going to discuss. First is understanding the basic of starting a business here in the UAE. And then the next is about UAE residency. What will be the good option for you? Whether you're going with a golden visa, investor's visa, partner's visa, employee visa, freelance visa. And the third is, of course, family sponsorship.
Okay. You can actually see your present mode. We just see your main screen, just so that you know that. So you'll have to click on every one of those, of every one of your slides. And you can get out of present mode because it's not in present mode.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Give us again a moment. I'm so
No,
sorry.
not a problem. Oh, there we are. That's perfect. That'll do it. Just okay. Well, will you do you? Oh,
Okay.
fabulous. Oh, yes. Thank you.
Just a moment. Is it okay with you? Or I can just press it. It's okay. So why it's important to know the basic before launching anything in Dubai? Because lack of clarity normally will bring you to issues with compliances or even a costly startup. So here are the things that can help you to understand what should be done before launching your business in the UAE. So the key factors that affects the business setup are, first is the business activity. You must understand your business. Two is the jurisdiction. Three is the residency requirement. Later on, I'm going to explain each one. And then four is the office requirement, legal structure of the company, and then entity ownership. So the business activity, that is the main or the very first thing that you should think when you're opening a company or launching a business. You must specify the business activity because your business activity can determine whether you will need an office, you will need an external approval from different government sectors. And then it can identify what would be the appropriate jurisdiction of your business. Is it mainland or is it free zone? And also you need to know how many visas will you be needing? How many partners visa? How many investors visa? how many employees you're planning to hire, because it can determine whether your business should be done in mainland or should be done in free zone. And again, your business activity can identify if your business can be done in the mainland or in free zone, because there are different factors on that. Especially if it is mainland, there is some business activity that really requires for you to have a shop, to have a warehouse, or an office. Unlike in free zone, wherein they offer a flexi desk, but again, that depends on the business activity that you wanted to do. And then the legal structure of the company, whether you want to go with sole proprietorship. Again, sole proprietorship normally works with mainland license, but a sole proprietorship will require a local sponsor. Civil partnership, that is a partnership that will require as well a local sponsor. And we have what we call limited liability company, which is 100% ownership. So when it comes to the entity ownership, it could be individual ownership or corporate ownership. When I say individual ownership, it is under a person's name. But if it is a corporate ownership, it means there is a set up entity that would like to be the owner of that company that you wanted to set up here in Dubai. So of course, when you are planning to launch anything in the UAE, it's also important for you to understand the renewals and exit plan, because you must understand, if you plan to stop or cease your business operations, it doesn't mean, oh, I don't like to proceed, or I don't like to renew now my license. No, it should not be like that. You have to understand that if you will not renew your license, you're going to have a penalty. So the option, if you're planning not to continue this business, it's better for you to close the company. So in closing the company, you have to also to understand what would be the necessary requirements on that. So visa options in Dubai, there are actually lots of options nowadays. Okay, so I'm actually thinking how I'm going to show it to you in a very simple way. So I come up with this solution. So it's a comparison with a golden visa, freelance visa, investor or partner visa. When I say investor visa, you are an owner of the company, but you are alone. When I say partner visa, there are two partners in one company. So the golden visa, it can allow you to have a 10-year residency, and a freelance visa, you can have an option of 1 year or 2 years. An investor's visa or partner's visa, you can have a 2-year visa. So the other, okay, self-sponsorship under skills, property, or profession. That's the category of golden visa. In freelance visa, there is what we call freelance permit, which is self-sponsorship. Investor visa or partner visa, you must have a business license. So in golden visa, family sponsorship, including children and parents, and also household staff. In freelance visa, you can only sponsor family, but you cannot hire employee. Investor partner visa, you can sponsor family, but you can hire employee. So golden visa is direct application with, it's either you can do it by yourself, you can go to Amr Center and to apply, or you can do it in the app, in the ICP app. But sometimes doing it by yourself, it's kind of be hassle. So freelance visa that is valid in free zones, and then definitely for investors visa, you need to establish a company either in mainland or in free zone. The Golden Visa, they have extended stay outside UAE, means no limitations, but for those holder of UAE residency, not exempt Golden Visa, you cannot stay more than 6 months or 180 days outside the UAE. Otherwise, your visa will be invalid. So Golden Visa, as you know, there is no income tax in the UAE, but the freelancer, it's not mandatory to apply for the corporate tax. You can only be subjected to corporate tax if your income exceeds 1 million annually. And for the investor's visa, basically there is what we call a threshold of 375,000 or 100,000 US dollar. And then above on that, you are subject for 9% income tax. So what are the options for Golden Visa? There are actually so many options under the Golden Visa. It could be investors in public investment, entrepreneurs, specialized talents like doctors, scientists, athletes, engineers, executives, or real estate investors. In freelance visa, here are some of the available profession: author, music producer, influencer, designers, photographer, coach, or personal trainer. And then investor's visa or partner visa, that depends on the business activity that you wanted to do here in the UAE. So Golden Visa, you cannot work unless a work permit is obtained from relevant government entities. And then the freelance visa holder can work independently in approved fields. And then the investor or the owner of the company can work within their company only. So Golden Visa, they are qualified to open personal bank account. And then the freelance visa holder, they can also open a bank account from WIO, which is partnered with the authorities, with the free zone authorities. And then the investors or partner visa can open a personal bank account and corporate bank account as well. So the requirements actually varies, depends on what applications or what visa you're going to apply. I'm just going to give you one example of a golden visa under the category of an executive director, CEO, manager. So the basic is, of course, the passport, but the most important thing is that you should have a labor contract or a contract based in the UAE. You should have a minimum of 30,000 basic salary. And definitely, you will be needing to have a certificate of equivalency from Ministry of Education and a tested degree by Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the UAE. And then 6 months bank statement showing your salary monthly. So going to freelance visa, the requirements varies, depends on the activity that you wanted to practice. But it's a very simple requirement. It's passport copy, and then they might require resume and the proof of address and a diploma. It depends again with the business activity that you wanted to do. And investors or partner visa, it's simple again, but it depends again which jurisdiction you are planning to apply your company. So it could be you will be needing a proof of funds, and depends on the business activity. We will let you know what else are needed in your license. So again, procedures and requirements may vary, depends on the jurisdictions, depends which emirates, and depends what profession you're going to apply. So going forward with family sponsorship, golden visa versus freelance visa holder and partners visa. So family sponsorship comparison. So here you can see if you're going to sponsor your family and you have a golden visa, so you don't need to pay the security deposit. But if you are a holder of a freelance visa, then you need to have a security deposit with the immigration per member of the family before you can get the approval for the visa. And there are some cases like there are stepson or daughter. So it actually depends with the immigration as well. You need to go to the humanitarian section for approval. So medical test. So our under golden visa, spouse and parents, children below 18 years old, actually doesn't need 18 years old below doesn't need to go for medical test. The same procedure applies to freelance visa holder, family sponsorship, and investors visa. The same with the biometric for Emirates ID. Children below 18 years old are exempted to do the biometric. And the same policy apply under freelance visa and partners visa sponsorship. So golden visa, daughters, no age limit, but they must be unmarried so that they can be under your sponsorship. The same rule applies even you are having a freelance visa or a partner visa. And for the son, up to 27 years old, you can sponsor your family if your son. Above that, you cannot sponsor them. So domestic helper, you can sponsor as well under the golden visa, and that is valid for 2 years. But if you are a freelance visa holder or an investor's visa holder, if you would like to hire a domestic helper, then you can get only a 1-year visa validity for them. So permit duration, if the sponsor passes away, the permit for a family members to stay in the UAE until the end of their permit duration if a sponsor passes away. The same policy apply to the freelance visa holder and investor's visa holder. So I would like just to give you some information about the most important required documents to apply for the family sponsorship. Definitely, it will require the attested marriage certificate by Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and as well as attested birth certificate of the daughter and son. So if, example, you are going to sponsor your stepson or daughter, so we'll be needing to make to prepare a no objection letter from the parents notarized by Dubai court. And the same should be applicable either freelance or investor's visa holder. So documents required to sponsor your parents, if you're planning to bring your parents here in the UAE, so you will be needing to prepare the attested birth certificate by Ministry of Foreign Affairs UAE, and the same applies to all of the types of the visas. And take note, if sponsoring only one parent due to death or divorce, official documents must be provided as justification of your application. So salary requirement of the sponsorship, under Golden Visa, there's no salary requirement. But if you are a freelance holder or investor's visa, at least there should be like 20,000 monthly salary that can be seen in your bank account during the application. And of course, during the application, it's mandatory to show the tenancy contract to all types of visa holders. And for Golden Visa, visa validity, yeah, I think I have discussed that already. And this document, so as what I've said, the requirements, the deposit depends on the respective immigration or authorities that you are applying the visa. Because here in the UAE, there are 7 emirates. So it depends which emirates you are applying the visas. So I'm going to show you here a sample of an example of a Golden Visa holder. So here, you will see the name of the sponsor, and if you are under the sponsorship of a Golden Visa holder, it will show here, not allowed to work. In UAE, there's no issue with that. Even it's mentioned not allowed to work, because you can still apply for a work permit here to get the approval to work. But some other like Golden Visa holder, they are having like an issue. Example, you are working in one company, and then this company is going to send you to Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia will ask give me your visa copy. And if they will see from the embassy that is mentioned not allowed to work, so you will be having a difficulty getting an approval for a business visa. So you have to, if you're planning to have your Golden Visa, you have to think the consequence of what is the plan, what is your future plan actually. So I think that this is the end of my presentation. And if you have any questions, I'm ready to answer your questions. And I hope that we have shared you.
Thank you so much. That was actually very precise. And I had no idea that it could create difficulty when you're actually traveling elsewhere to have it on your documentation, but does make sense, does absolutely make sense. You actually have a couple of questions here, and we're very mindful of the time. So let's take a quick look at the presentations there. So we've got people, and just to tell you, we've got some people from Toronto, some people from Montreal. So if there's anybody from Montreal, do that little hop, or a little from Toronto. And it says, thanks for the presentation. Regarding the Golden Visa, Massimo asked, the salary history should be only in the UAE, or does Canada work also for Golden Visas? Does your Canadian salary count? That's what they want to know.
Basically, it should be only here in the UAE, because as what I've said, we must have the salary certificate based in the issued here in the UAE, and a salary contract issued here in the UAE. So those salary must mention only here in the UAE. So unfortunately, salary coming from Canada, it's not it is not yet acceptable here.
Great, thank you. Then we've also got another question that says, if I have canceled my investor partner visa while my trade license was active, and now I want to reapply for it, is it possible? Is there a cost? Does the duration change? The renewal, TL, it says renewal is in September. Oh, trade license, sorry. Renewal is in September.
Okay, so her question is that, is it possible if she can still get a visa under that company, that
Yes.
license?
Yes, because the license is still active.
Yes, definitely. You can still get an investor's visa under the, but first, may I know that it depends actually where is the jurisdiction of the license and how many partners in the license, because recently there are some changes with the rules about having an investor and partners visa. So I need to understand which jurisdiction your license is issued.
Great.
And how many partners in the license.
Yes, okay, great. So what we're going to do is we're going to send out your information afterwards, our speakers' information, so that you'll get some better answers. With the other person writing back, it says he didn't understand regarding the salary thing. He goes, I didn't understand. I'm new here and I'd like to apply for a golden visa under my profession. How can I show your salary here? I could probably answer that. It's probably with your bank account statements, but or letters from your office. So would I be correct? Would I be incorrect? Tell
It
me.
depends
You tell
again.
me.
Yeah, it depends again who are your sponsor. Where are they based? In free zone or in mainland?
Yeah.
If it is in free zone, which free zone? Because example, DMCC, you can request from DMCC the salary certificate. But there are some small free zones that you can request from your company only. It depends. If it is mainland, then it has to be with the Ministry of Labor.
Okay. Yeah. So again, these are really pertinent questions, and I think there are so many variables. So that's why I'm so happy that Ramzi and yourself are here, Maria, because the variables, I mean, you guys can tag team wrestle on this. People can write you together if they want, CC each other, for my opinion, because it's nice to get both points of view, I think, or whatever would coincide. We'll take the last two questions. Unfortunately, please write us some more questions in the question box, and I'll make sure they get to the speakers. Last two, we've got Alberto. Alberto is actually our new intern coming from Canada. So let's see what Alberto has to say. What is the process like to apply for a work permit for someone that is not allowed to work on their golden visa? Would they face more issues than somebody else's other visas? Do you think it would be a deterrent? I would think, is what he was saying.
If you are under a golden visa, definitely you are qualified to get a work permit. You can apply for work permit
Okay, so
because that is one of your benefits.
okay, great. So I think people that see the gold visa another way. And then we have another question. I'm not exactly sure what it is they're stating, but do you have payment voucher discount service? I don't know what that is.
I understand that. I
Oh,
believe
good.
that your license is based in mainland. If your license is based in mainland and you would like to get a discount, so what you can do, don't go, I'm not telling you to go to any, how do you call it? There are some people who will tell you, I'm going to give you this much of discounts. But at the end of the day, it will be a big problem or a big issue with you. So the best way for you is to apply. Okay, either you apply directly with the typing center, or we can help with that as well. Or you can do that as well, but you can apply that with Dubai municipality. So, but it has to be backed up with a tenancy contract, home tenancy contract of if you have a tenancy contract or if you have any employees having a tenancy contract as well. So, and DEWA bill, it can help you to reduce your payment voucher.
Fabulous. Well, unfortunately, time is up because I'm very obviously making sure that we're using all your time valuably. And so actually, I always like to ask our speakers and our panelists for just the last two closing thoughts. Since we let Ramzi go first, I think we'll let Maria go first this time. So Maria, what would you like to say? And I mean, wish or say, or maybe there's some closing thoughts. You did an extremely wonderful summary of things, but you might have some closing thoughts that come to mind.
Yes. Oh, thank you for giving us this platform, Diana and Sanjita, and to the team, thank you for giving us making this possible. And for everyone who wish to start their business in the UAE, I always say this, please prepare your business plan. Study first, make a research before going through. I'm going to share you a workbook wherein you can start doing your business plan. I can share it to Sanjita later by email. So anyone who would like with that business plan template, I can share it with them.
Fabulous. That is a great tool. I love that. Thank you, Maria. And Ramzi, I'm sure you've got something that I'm sure that people really need
No, I
to.
mean, I think one of the things that you should not do is ignore the protection of your life and your bank account. I mean, insurance is the only industry that I know where you make a mistake and they pay for it. And so it is what it is. So, I mean, pick a good broker and ask about what is the holistic protection that you can get here and go for it and start small and build your way up. You can always start small and then top up and keep on it. I mean, and it's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you know, the hindsight of 2020 vision. I think we need better vision right away so that we've got things covered. Well, first of all, thank you so much for spending your valuable time with us, and thank you so much for sharing. We always say that people first here at CBC Dubai, and we want to make sure that's the truth. Just so that all the attendees know that it was just that easy. We just really reached out. I said, Ramzi, would you mind helping? There's so many questions we're getting late. Same thing with Maria. Maria, would you mind helping? And that's exactly what they said. We would love to help. All your Q&A questions that have been popping up right now, I will make sure that they get to the speakers. We will follow up in a few days with all those little toys and tools that they have promised you to have. Make sure to sign up on the survey if you can, and you're always welcome here at CBC Dubai. Wishing you all the best, and we wish you a very peaceful and safe day. Take
Thank you
care.
very much.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
very
Bye-bye.
much.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Take